Rockingham. Alright, I wanted to try and go over the info that's going to be for the race in the Diet Dr. Pepper series this Thursday. And I'm going to go do some practice laps and show you the line I'm running around Rockingham, just to give you an idea, and to give you an idea of my pace. The laps I'm going to be doing, I'm not going to be trying to push really hard for a fast lap. I'm just going to be showing you how I'm going to run in the race to protect the tires. But before I get into all of that, I want to highly encourage you to join the Discord. I usually don't promote any of my stuff, but I think it's very, very helpful to be in the Discord specifically for this series. Every Monday I've been trying to post info about each of the upcoming races, including this one, and that's going to be the info I'm going to share in this video. But I'm also going to do some practice laps to show you that. So there's a channel in the Discord specifically just for me to post info for the races, all the specs you need to do or need to know to practice and be prepared for the race on Thursday. And I don't think most of the people that joined Daytona were in the Discord. Maybe most of them were, but there were some that weren't. So if you're not and you want to run this series, I highly recommend that. I think that will be very important for getting info out to everyone that wants to race and enjoy the series. So let me go over the basic info for the race. It's going to be June 15th, this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be different than the Superspeedway Daytona. Top 43 from qualifying just automatically transfer in. There will be a heat race, just because that's how the format has to be in order for the top 43 to work correctly. So that will be just like a 3-lap, 2-minute throw array race, and there's not going to be any transfers for that. It's just going to be top 43 from qualifying, you're in the race, and then it's going to be a 196 lap race. Now that seems like a lot, because it is, but it's less than 200 miles. If we go green for a while, cross our fingers, that actually won't be that long. It's a lot of laps, definitely, and this is a tough track, but mileage-wise, it's right in line with everything else. The in-sim time, so if you want to do practice, and I highly recommend you do, so you can set your test session to this exact info right here. It's going to be 2:30 p.m. in-sim, clear weather, and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Coldest track you can get, or coldest air temp you can get. In real life, the season I'm basing this off of, the real weather was like 50 something, and iRacing can't even do that. So 65, lowest you can go. 38% humidity and 15 miles an hour wind to the west. Now, I'm keeping it there. Real life wind was like 40, gusts of 40 miles an hour. We're not doing that. That's just asking for everyone to spin out. 15 miles an hour I think will be okay. And to the west I think will be okay. The problem corners aren't going to really be affected by that direction of the wind, but I may end up lowering that wind speed just a little bit. I'm still doing some testing. I think it'll be alright. I'm just worried about it gusting up and people missing corners and spinning out and stuff, which can happen with the wind. But that's how we're leaving it right now. And there's going to be 5 sets of tires on the wall, so counting the ones you start on, 6 total sets, which should work out to about 33 laps per set if you divide 196 evenly. And I may add an additional set of tires, so we may end up with 7 total. But we'll see about that. That's the current stats right now, and that's what we're going to go with unless I decide to change my mind, but that's going to be a race day decision, I believe. Alright, we're going to do some practice laps. Some very key things to note about this track. Corners are very tough. The exit of turn 2 is one of the toughest exits in all of NASCAR, and one of the toughest corners we're going to be going to all year. So be extremely careful. Now when I'm riding in traffic and when I'm just in the race, not pushing very hard at all, I am not getting full throttle at all until we get pointed straight out of the corner onto the straightaway. I think that is going to be extremely important. If you're just a little bit too much throttle mid-corner, you're going to get sideways, and it's going to be tough for you to catch. It's tough for me to catch. It's very tricky if you get it sideways here. So cold tires are also going to be sketchy, so you're going to want to be very patient early in a run and early on those tires, and just take it very easy. I'm braking very early for the corners here. Kind of wash up the track a little bit, let it coast up, turn down just a slight amount. Don't turn the wheel much at all if you can help it. Really brake early into turn 1. It gets very sharp. Kind of wash up to the middle of the track. Try and cut off the exit a little bit, but do not clip the yellow line in any point of the corners. You are asking for trouble if you go near that yellow line and clip it. Saving tires is going to be the best around the yellow line, but if you clip it, you are most definitely going to wreck. It is so dangerous, especially on the exit of turn 2. And you pay attention to my throttle here. I'm not trying to do fast laps. I'm just trying to roll the track. That time I overdrove it a bit, pushed up a little bit too much. But I'm just being smooth with it. We're not making any crazy moves. And the track temp is very cool. See, I got a little bit loose there. I have to wait on throttle. I can't force it through that. Track is very cool, so the lap times are pretty low right now. Overdrove turn 3 again. Just waiting on the throttle. Okay, we're straight. Let's full throttle there. Braking very early for turn 1. Nice and smooth. Running a little bit lower here. That's alright. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer to get off of turn 2, though. It tightens up so much it cuts your exit off if you run too low through the corner. Okay. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Rockingham, this should be helpful. If you know Rockingham, you should know all this already. If you're unfamiliar with Rockingham, I highly recommend just getting some laps in, running by yourself like this, but also, you know, let's do some practice. Let's say there's a guy to our inside right now. So we're going to have to stay high. Let's say where there's a car low. We have to stay high up here. Be very careful. Wait on throttle. You can't let it get up into the wall or turn down and get loose into the guy. You can use the same braking points running up high. You're just going to have to enter the corner higher and stay high. Turn 2, exit, up high. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. You're going to have to wait a long time on throttle. I'm not going to tell you how to race or how to give up passes or try and take passes, but it's risk-reward in turn 2, right? It's very tight, very tough to go too wide through there. Do you risk getting in a wreck by staying on that guy's outside? Or should you just back off, get in behind him, you know, save your tires? You're going to be wearing the tires out a lot more running up here on the outside of somebody than you will be on the bottom. And this is a long race, okay? 1 position, 2 positions, even 5 positions have almost no consequence on the final result of the race if you're within like the first 100, 120 laps. It's all about protecting your car and getting it to the end and doing your best to protect those tires. Alright, so we did some laps on the high side. Let's say there's somebody on our outside this time. Since we're going to be entering the corner much shallower, we're going to have to brake a little bit earlier. And we're going to have to stay low in turn 2, very treacherous. The exit of turn 2 on the outside is probably going to be better than the exit of turn 2 on the bottom, just because it tightens up so much on the bottom and you don't want to push up into the guy. But it is so tight that going too wide through there is extremely dangerous. Now, on the bottom, especially in 1 and 2, be careful about that yellow line. You will spin. I will spin. Anyone who touches it really is very likely to spin. It is extremely dangerous. The yellow line is on the flat of the apron, not the bank of the corner. So if you touch the yellow line, you're going to hit that flat and it's going to pull your left sides in and send the rear end around. Now you'll see how slow I have to go through 1 and 2, keeping it low, just because it's so tight, and I'm worrying about the guy on my outside. I don't want to push up into them. Okay, still on our outside. We can drift up a little bit, but not much. Gotta wait, gotta wait. Okay, now we can go. Alright, let's say we're clear now. Go back to running our normal line, kind of mid-corner. Nice and smooth. Gotta wait to get on throttle. These cars have so much power, you bash that throttle down, you'll spin the tires, get the rear end sideways. It'll be tough to catch. You want to be very smooth with all your inputs with these. Very smooth at every point. Okay, felt pretty good. Let's say you've done some practice laps like that. You've done some practice laps up high, down low. Let's say a caution comes out. Let's say we're slowing down for a caution. It freezes the field as soon as the caution comes out. You're not racing back to the line, of course, so just take a minute. Let your tires cool down. Act like you're coming out of turn 4, getting ready to take the green. It's going to be single file restart, so basically wherever on the track you want to be, you feel most comfortable, but probably you want to be guarding the top. Just basically follow whoever. No, I went past it there, but let's say we're going green now. Just practice gassing up, right? See, I never got full throttle there, and it still wanted to slide the rears out. Now your tires are going to be a little bit cooler than they were just a minute ago, so get an idea of how that feels. Tire wear is usually pretty heavy here, and I suspect it will be still, but I'm gonna carry over all the rubber that gets put on the track in practice and qualifying and the heats. So the track should start pretty rubbered up for the race, which should improve the tire wear, so they won't be as bad. And the track is going to be very cool compared to what it could be, so you're not going to be sliding around as much. You're going to have a lot more grip. Alright. Think you guys can handle that? I think you can handle that. I think we can have a good race. I think it's possible. Just give each other room. You don't need to be right up somebody's bumper or side drafting real close or anything. Just give everyone lots of room. Be nice and patient. It's cool to do fast laps and try and go really fast and try and pass people, but you're not going fast at all if you're broken on pit road. If you wreck, what good does it do you to go fast? It's all about preserving the car for the long run. These are long races, they're marathons. You pick your battles, do what you can do to get the car home safely. And now we've done some practice like that. Let's go ahead and practice a green flag pit stop. It's a pretty tricky pit road to get onto, but it's not too bad, I don't think. Let's get it in the corner. I'm not even going to gas it up really. Let's get it nice and slow. Now fast people can take that much more aggressively, but I'm getting it on safely. I'm not spinning out or anything like that. And if you do pit under green, keep in mind that not everybody has voice chat, not everybody has text chat, so make sure you have an opening. Ideally, let people know over voice and text, but you can't count on the people around you to have that enabled. And if you don't have it enabled, when you're pitting, just make sure you got space around you and don't do any crazy maneuvers to try and get to pit road in traffic. Tires for that short stint, 91.91. I'd say that's pretty good. Taking care of that. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm not gonna tell lap cars any lane they gotta go to. Just hold your line when people are coming to you, and try and not be too wide with other lap cars if the leaders are coming to you. I mean, it's going to be a different situation than Daytona. It shouldn't be clumped up like that. But just be predictable, hold your line, don't try and change lanes to get out of people's way. Just let them get around you if you're getting lapped, okay? And if you are getting lapped on the outside of turn 2, be very careful and just make sure you give lots of room. Alright? Again, the Discord, useful info about every race is going to be posted there. I'm going to try and do it on Mondays, I think, of the week of the race. Very useful info, I think. And you can get the track temp and all that stuff and all that for your practice if you want to practice. Highly recommend it, especially for this kind of track. I think that's all I want to say. So hopefully you found this informative and useful. If you got any questions for me, of course, you can send me a message, leave me a comment. I'll try and provide the info that I can. It's fixed setups, so just use the default Rockingham set. You know, whatever steering ratio, brake bias you feel comfortable with. I was running 65% brakes there, or 68 actually. If you run that lower, you're going to be looser on entry, which may be good long run, but it's going to be harder. So, alright, I think that'll do it. I hope we have a good race. There's no reason it can't be. So, let's just give everyone room, race each other with respect. I realize mistakes are going to happen. Let's try and just be prepared for the race and have a good time. Should be fun. Shouldn't be that long of a race if we go green. It's a lot of laps, but we can do it. So, yeah, thanks for watching.